We're near the entrance to the Enchantments, which is just a few miles up this road. This is where authorities believe Travis Decker could be hiding.
Tracking breaking news in the manhunt for Travis Decker right now, the man charged with killing his 3 daughters. Deputies say they could be closing in on his location south of Leavenworth this morning.
Deputies want anyone in the area of Ingalls Creek to secure their homes and vehicles, stay alert, and report any suspicious activity.
Just 2 weeks before Father's Day, on June 2nd, 2025, the serene quiet of Rock Island Campground in Leavenworth, Washington, a place known for its peaceful trails and alpine beauty, was shattered. There, an unimaginable discovery came to light, an act so profoundly disturbing, so utterly appalling, that law enforcement officials struggled to describe it, calling it one of the most horrifying crimes in recent memory. In this video, we will delve into the cold, hard facts of this recent case, examine the devastating aftermath, and track the ongoing search for the man believed to be responsible. But beyond the facts, one haunting question echoes in the minds of all who follow this chilling saga. What unthinkable motive could lie behind this monstrous act? Let's dive in.
Okay. Decker. Nice.
You can't stop halfway, Evie.
There we go, Evie. Nice. Olivia. Okay, bringing it down.
Thanks.
Bringing it up.
No, put it back.
Bringing it down.
The Decker family started like so many others, built on love and a vision for a quiet, stable life. Around 2013 or 2014, Travis and Whitney Decker were married and eventually made their home in Wenatchee, Washington, a small town tucked between rivers and mountains where they hoped to raise a family. In time, they welcomed 3 daughters, 9-year-old Peyton, 8-year-old Evelyn, and 5-year-old Olivia. Their home was filled with the familiar rhythms of family life, school runs, bedtime stories, and the joyful chaos of raising young children. Travis, a U.S. Army veteran, played an active role in their upbringing, while Whitney worked hard to maintain stability at home. But over time, cracks began to form in their relationship. According to a published report, Travis had initially been assigned to the Elite Ranger Regiment, but was removed after failing to complete Ranger School. After a deployment to Afghanistan, his behavior became increasingly erratic. He would sometimes disappear for hours or even days without explanation. Whitney described disturbing episodes of emotional instability, like being jolted awake by his sudden screaming in the middle of the night. Near the end of their marriage, he was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, though Whitney believed he wasn't consistently taking his prescribed medication. Ultimately, the strain became too much. After roughly 7 years together, the couple divorced. Still, Travis remained involved in his daughters' lives. He attended soccer games and dance recitals, and by all accounts, the girls adored him. Even as his life spiraled, financially and emotionally, fatherhood remained one of the few constants he seemed to cherish. But by September 2024, that fragile balance began to unravel. Travis's emotional state deteriorated further. He was falling behind on child support by more than $20,000, had lost stable housing, and faced disciplinary action from the Washington National Guard for missing drills. He was often living out of his truck or in motels. In one troubling incident, he kept the girls overnight at a homeless shelter occupied by mostly men and allowed them to walk to a corner store alone. Whitney responded by petitioning the court to revise the parenting plan. She specifically requested that the court consider ending overnight visits, among other restrictions. In a September 2024 hearing, Travis pleaded with the court not to limit visitation with his kids.
Starting over is hard, and I'm starting at the bottom, and I've got a long way to go, but I don't think that it should restrict the time that I get to be around my daughters.
We're not trying to take these children away from Mr. Decker. We respect and appreciate the fact that he loves his kids. That's obvious by the fact that he's attending their events. It's just important that they have this consistency in their lives.
Since I have been gone, every time I've had the girls, we have been in campsites in national forests and paid campsites that have campers. We've never done anything that was unsafe or anything I wouldn't want to put myself in. I understand that my current position when I'm by myself isn't ideal, but my daughters aren't a part of that. I only get to see them over the weekends, and camping is something that the four of us have done since the three of them were in diapers. I've never done anything I feel like that puts them in any sort of a risk that most families in the state of Washington, every campsite we've been to in the last month have been almost completely booked out or sold out because everybody's out this time of year. When I stepped away from the National Guard, I was making $86,000 a year, and now I make, I think it's like $38,000 a year. When you start over from zero and you don't have help in a hand to get you through it, it makes it a little more difficult.
One of the things I need to consider when I'm looking at the best interest of the children is stability, and that's not stable. It's not stable having them in different places every time you have them. That's concerning to the court, regardless of whether it's in an RV, whether it's in a tent, whether it's in Airbnb, whether it's at a hotel, a motel. That's not stable, and that's always a concern for the court.
In the end, the court agreed that restrictions were necessary. It found that Travis had, at times, neglected his parental duties and was dealing with emotional or physical challenges that interfered with safe parenting. The new parenting plan imposed strict conditions: no overnight visits, no travel outside the Wenatchee Valley, and limited visitation hours every other weekend. It also required Travis to undergo mental health treatment and anger management counseling, requirements he did not follow through with, according to an affidavit. Though Whitney said they had agreed to the new terms, Travis refused to sign the revised plan. Despite this, the court allowed him limited, structured time with the children designed to minimize risk. To his credit, Travis complied. Despite his mounting challenges, he showed up. He followed the schedule. He returned the girls on time, every time. There was no documented history of visitation issues. So when Friday, May 30th, 2025 arrived and Travis collected his daughters for his usual scheduled visit, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. For Whitney, it was just another weekend, just another handoff. But that ordinary moment would soon unravel into something unfathomable.
And a truly heartbreaking end to a search for three sisters from Wenatchee. 9-year-old Peyton Decker, 8-year-old Evelyn Decker, and 5-year-old Olivia Decker have been found dead. The girls were last seen alive on Friday after their father picked them up for a planned visitation.
And now there is an urgent manhunt to find him. 32-year-old Travis Decker is wanted for his daughter's kidnapping and murders. Now, State Patrol says he may be armed and dangerous.
At around 3:56 p.m. on Monday, June 2nd, deputies from the Chelan County Sheriff's Office located the bodies of 3 school-aged children. Each had a plastic bag over their head, and their wrists were either zip-tied or showed signs of having been restrained. The scene was so disturbing, so cold in its execution, that one official called it the single most horrifying crime they'd encountered in decades. The victims were positively identified as Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia Decker. The cause of death, asphyxiation, and the only person unaccounted for was their father. Whitney was inconsolable, the police in disbelief, and the community left in tatters, grappling with the unimaginable. 3 innocent lives were stolen before they could begin. But to fully understand how this could have happened, they had to go back to early May 2025. About 1 month before the murders, Travis Decker made a sudden and telling decision. He cut off his daily counseling calls with a pastor in Georgia. These were not brief check-ins. Some of the conversations lasted hours, and then silence. Shortly after, his behavior took a turn. On May 16th, Travis made what would be his final post on Facebook. He shared a haunting image, a sun-bleached animal skull, its spine and bones carefully laid out among dry brush and twisted branches. With no caption or explanation, the image was stark and unsettling, possibly symbolizing death and isolation. On Monday, May 26th, Travis went online and searched how to relocate to Canada. He browsed Canadian job sites. This wasn't random. It looked like a man planning an exit. That same week, Whitney said Travis unexpectedly tried to reconcile their marriage. He even told the girls he might be moving back in. But when Whitney turned down his advances, something changed. His mood darkened. Then came Friday, May 30th. According to an affidavit, Travis picked up the girls at his scheduled time, 5 p.m. sharp, and was required to return them by 8 p.m. Later that evening, his supervisor called Whitney directly with an urgent message. He told her Travis was behaving oddly at work and seemed unstable and could be on the brink of something really extreme. Out of caution, Whitney filed for a protection order, but it would be too late as the girls were already in Travis's care. When 8 o'clock came and went with no sign of Travis or the girls, Whitney grew uneasy. She called his phone multiple times. Each call went straight to voicemail, a sign it was either off or out of service. That's when extreme anxiety kicked in. Travis had never done this before, not once. A short time later, a distressed Whitney walked into the lobby of the Wenatchee Police Department to file a civil complaint. Something wasn't right, and she knew it.
So I'll start off and give you a timeline of the involvement of Wenatchee Police Department in this case. On May 30th, at about 9:35 p.m., Wenatchee Police Officer Corporal Gonzalez responded to a call of a civil complaint. In responding to that call, he interviewed Whitney, the mother of the 3 young girls. There was no reported history of problems with the parenting plan. There were reported concerns of Travis being homeless and financially stressed recently. Whitney was clear that during the exchanges that had occurred in the past, that Travis was very communicative with her in any deviations from the parenting plan. Corporal Gonzalez, after speaking with Whitney, was able to identify Decker's vehicle through a local database called Spillman. He took the vehicle information and was able to enter it into Flock, which is a system of cameras that are located within the city and also in Chelan County. Flock located the vehicle, the white GMC Sierra, traveling northbound across the Wenatchee River Bridge. This was shortly after Decker had picked up the children for the visitation. After this information was obtained, and in addition to information that had been received by Whitney that Travis frequented local hotels and often local campgrounds as well, all local hotels and campgrounds in East Wenatchee and Wenatchee were checked by patrol officers from those jurisdictions, and Decker was not located. Park rangers were also contacted at Confluence Park and made aware of the situation. An attempt to locate was then sent out by Corporal Gonzalez to all regional agencies containing Decker's information along with the vehicle information. After that, Corporal Gonzalez made contact with Washington State Patrol and consulted their unit for an Amber Alert. The information at the time did not meet the threshold for an Amber Alert. On May 31st, Corporal Gonzalez contacted Sergeant Eaton at about 7 a.m. and advised him of the situation. After that conversation had occurred, Detective Brian Hewitt with the Wenatchee Police Department and Detective Sergeant Joe Eaton discussed the incident as well, and Detective Hewitt responded that day to continue the investigation. The family was contacted and additional information was obtained. He learned Travis and the daughters did not arrive at a planned 5K running event that morning, which was out of the ordinary to Whitney. Travis had had a recent history of attending and being present for all the daughters' events and programs. And, At that point, Detective Hewitt started to reach out to some of his contacts at the state and federal levels as well. He enlisted the assistance of the FBI and with assistance from the FBI, phone location data was obtained for Thursday through Friday, plotting locations in and around Leavenworth. Detective Hewitt then, with that information, went to Leavenworth and started focusing on the areas of Chumstick and Icicle Road, and did not have any success in locating Travis or his vehicle or the girls. Throughout that day, Detective Hewitt had multiple contacts again with WSP, or Washington State Patrol, and continued to provide updates and request an Amber Alert, which still the information that he provided and had obtained did not meet the threshold for the Amber Alert to be activated. However, an Endangered and Missing Person Alert, an EMPA, was activated by the Washington State Patrol at approximately 4 o'clock p.m. I want to explain a little bit that the Endangered and Missing Person Alert does generate a flyer that goes out to all the contacts through that State Patrol Missing and Endangered Person Unit, so that goes statewide. As well, the information for the alert is posted on the reader boards that I'm sure everybody's familiar with on the state highways around Washington, and those were activated here locally on the major ingress and egress highways such as Highway 2 and I-90. Also, on May 31st, Detective Hewitt had developed and communicated probable cause for custodial interference first degree, 3 counts of custodial interference first degree, and began assembling the paperwork to obtain those warrants. The following day, on June 1st, Detective Hewitt conducted additional follow-up and completed his initial report and request for the arrest warrants for custodial interference, which were granted and later entered into the system. The following day, which was Monday, the WPD Detective Unit met to devise a plan for the day on follow-up and submitting necessary paperwork for the warrant to ensure that had all gone through. WSP was contacted again, referenced the Amber Alert, yet we still didn't meet the criteria. The EMPA was deemed to be the best fitting alert, and one of the things that I want to share with everybody about that EMPA, because it is a, I'll say, level below or degree below the Amber Alert, it actually comes with an expiration time. And we were able to work with WSP because we did actually reach our expiration for that alert, and it, by policy, was supposed to have been pulled down. But through good communication, good cooperation, and the relationship that we've built with Washington State Patrol over a long period of time, they agreed to leave that up. And we also enlisted the cooperation of the Department of Transportation as well, who has some input and does actually help WSP run those reader boards as well. So we were able to get that cooperation. And so I want to emphasize that WSP was very good to work with, as was DOT, and we had that information up and available to the public for as long as possible, extending past what the policy said it should have been up there for. Also on Monday, CCSO detectives were contacted and assisted. We communicated with them and developed a plan for CCSO detectives to check the areas of Chumstick and Icicle Road as well. Myself, Sergeant Eaton, and Detective Hewitt, shortly after coordinating with CCSO units, contacted the family and requested a meeting at the Wenatchee Police Department with the family and family representatives at approximately 10 a.m. The primary intent of the meeting was to provide an update to the family and answer any questions that they had about the ongoing investigation. The meeting was very positive and focused on maintaining good communication flowing back and forth both directions to maximize the exchange of information. At about 3:47 p.m., a CCSO deputy located the vehicle up the Icicle near the Rock Island campground. Sergeant Eaton and Detective Hewitt immediately responded to there to assist, and I remained at WPD to continue communication with the family and to coordinate additional law enforcement assistance from down here in the valley should it be needed. Upon arrival up there, the WPD units that responded connected with CCSO deputies that had responded to the scene as well. And from there, they began their ground search of the immediate area around the vehicle. The initial information that we were provided following the locating of the vehicle was that the vehicle was unoccupied. And shortly thereafter, we were advised that the bodies of the 3 young girls had been located in relatively close proximity to that vehicle. And Travis was nowhere to be found.
Law enforcement determined the case didn't qualify for an Amber Alert. They said there was no confirmed abduction and, at the time of reporting, no clear evidence that the children were in immediate danger. Instead, they issued a lower-tier Endangered Missing Persons Advisory, or EMPA, a more limited alert that does not trigger widespread public notifications. But to Whitney, that distinction wasn't just technical, it was critical. She believes the delay in public awareness may have cost precious time that could have made all the difference. In her eyes, the gap between an EMPA and an Amber Alert wasn't just about protocol. It was the line between action and inaction, and tragically, between life and death. While officials stood by their decision, the community was left grappling with the consequences.
Fathers, mothers, everybody, they're feeling it. I don't know how you can't.
All throughout Wenatchee, signs of support for Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia Decker. From the flags at half-staff around town to the balloons and mementos outside their school and at Memorial Park. The community still in shock with news of the girls found dead after a days-long search.
People are heartbroken. We want to know why. And I think the human in us wants to know why and have a better understanding. And we'll probably never have that, but it's just devastating all the way around.
All 3 girls love each other, just the sweetest to each other. They would both come to dance. Big sister was always there.
I was legit hoping that they come home safe. When I found out they no longer here, it's hard. It hurts me, it hurts almost a whole family out in this community.
But among the grief, there is also anger and a sense of determination to find the person responsible.
But that pursuit won't be easy, as Travis Decker isn't some common fugitive on the run. He's a trained survivalist with a military background that makes him uniquely dangerous. He enlisted in the U.S. Army in 2013, where he was trained as an infantryman with advanced skills in mountain survival, parachuting, and combat tactics. He later transferred to the Washington Army National Guard in 2021, but was reportedly facing a disciplinary discharge after missing mandatory drills. Law enforcement considers Travis especially dangerous, not just because of what he's accused of, but because of what he's capable of. With the ability to live off-grid and deep familiarity with rugged terrain, he knows how to disappear. Add in his declining mental state and the calculated nature of the crime, and authorities fear he's not only unpredictable, but potentially volatile. That said, police have a direct message for Travis.
As we speak, the Marshal's Office, the FBI, they're processing leads, they're conducting follow-up, and we will not rest until Travis is located. Travis, if you're listening, this is your opportunity to turn yourself in. Do the right thing, do what you need to do, and take accountability for your actions. We're not going to go away, we're not going to rest, and we're going to make sure we find you. You will be brought to justice. Those young ladies deserve it. We will take additional questions later on, but the Sheriff's Office, the Wenatchee Police Department, East Wenatchee, Douglas County, and all of our federal partners are going to continue to work with one another to ensure that justice is served.
As the police chief looked into the cameras and said, "You will be brought to justice," the weight of that promise was clear. But so was the challenge, because Travis Decker wasn't just running. He had disappeared into one of the most unforgiving landscapes in the Pacific Northwest. If you're not familiar with this part of Washington state, let me break it down for you, because the location itself is a key character in this story. Rock Island Campground, just outside Leavenworth, Washington, sits on the edge of the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest, a massive, rugged wilderness spanning over 4 million acres. It's a place where postcard beauty quickly gives way to isolation, steep ravines, dense forests, and terrain that challenges technology like drones and helicopters. It's even tough on search dogs. Above it lies the Enchantments, an elite backcountry hiking region with granite peaks and turquoise alpine lakes. It's accessible only by permit and not meant for the casual hiker. It demands high-level skills, stamina, and serious experience. That's what makes this search so difficult. Travis isn't just hiding, he's an Army-trained survivalist who may know this terrain better than the people chasing him. For most, this landscape is a barrier, but for Travis, it may feel like home. The search for Travis Decker began on June 2, 2025, after his daughter's bodies were found near Rock Island Campground, and his abandoned truck, marked with bloody adult handprints, was discovered nearby. Authorities immediately launched a manhunt, issuing an attempt to locate alert and labeling him armed and dangerous. The operation quickly escalated, drawing in state, local, and federal agencies, including the FBI and U.S. Marshals, with helicopters deployed and a $20,000 reward offered. By June 8th, it became a federally led search, with new forensic evidence and doorbell footage released to the public showing his last known appearance. Authorities believe Travis may be heading toward Canada and is likely hiding in the dense wilderness around Blewett Pass. As for how he escaped,
experts believe Decker likely hiked nearly 20 miles from Rock Creek Campground, where his daughter's bodies were found, up Windy Pass, past Stewart Lake to Kolchuk Lake, then dropped 4,000 feet into Ingalls Creek. It's a route with over 7,000 feet of elevation gain and dangerous conditions.
There's no trails in there, so it's all fully cross country. A lot of it's like third, fourth class rocks, steep trees, steep heather. And there's up in that area, there's still snow above 6,000 feet.
All we need is one mistake and one day to go in our favor, and he's going to be in our custody. And we want to bring him to justice. We want to set up the opportunity for him to stand in front of our courts and our judges and face justice and hear the voices of Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia, whose lives were senselessly taken by evil.
As of the time and date of this upload, despite an intensive multi-agency manhunt that has stretched for weeks, Travis remains a fugitive. Authorities believe they may have spotted Travis near Kolchuk Lake in the Enchantments, one of the most remote and rugged areas of Washington's backcountry. A helicopter team reportedly caught sight of a lone man off trail, and canine units later picked up tracks leading toward the Ingalls Creek trailhead. Days later, investigators recovered items believed to belong to Travis near Blewett Pass, confirming he may still be in the area. Search teams now describe him as surrounded, warning that while he remains armed and dangerous, his options are quickly narrowing. A $20,000 reward for information leading to his arrest remains active. In the aftermath of the horrific deaths of her daughters, Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia, Whitney Decker has emerged as a vocal advocate for systemic change. She believes that a number of institutional failures played a role in their loss. With the help of her attorney, Ariana Cozart, she has been pushing for reforms.
Travis was never violent with the girls. He had some mental health issues.
Decker's ex-wife, through her attorney, now speaking out, saying Decker struggled with PTSD after serving in Afghanistan and had reached out to the VA for help.
She feels like the system really let Travis down. She still to this day has a lot of love and empathy for Travis and who he is in his core, because he was a very loving man, but something broke. And whatever monster came out of him, it's something that he was trained to do in the military. And our government really should provide those resources.
Decker's ex-wife is also pushing for changes to the Amber Alert system. Police say that this case did not meet the criteria because there was no evidence of an abduction.
The Wenatchee community has rallied around Whitney, offering support through vigils, memorials, and a GoFundMe campaign. A candlelight vigil held at Memorial Park drew hundreds of attendees, including friends, neighbors, and classmates of the Decker sisters. The gathering served as both a tribute to the girls' lives and a call for systemic change to limit the occurrence of similar tragedies in the future.